He came up with this idea, why are we taking baby steps? We should think big. We should go to much longer distance. And then this opportunity came in, the Lagrangian 1 mission, the entire country, all the scientific institution got very much highly motivated. There are multiple payloads were then proposed. So eventually now we have a Lagrangian 1 observatory class mission. And as you heard from my colleagues, that it is a multi-wavelength observatory. So that's very important to have the shorter wavelength coverage from the space. And in addition, the ground-based observations are also important. So a combination of the ground-based telescope and the space-based platform is very, very important. And since you asked about the question about the, how Aditya in the overall heliophysics research within the international scenario, we only have 3 spacecraft around Lagrangian 1 point primarily from NASA and ESA. So I think, again, this is a fantastic achievement from India. If you could reach L1 with the full observatory class mission, it will really open a new window altogether. So I think this is a great opportunity, and we are all looking forward. And as I mentioned, probably we'll request that, a better ground-based facility. We have already projected a National Large Solar Telescope project from the ground. I think this is now high time we have a very nice ground-based telescope also to complement the capabilities of Aditya L1.
Thank you very much, sir. Indeed, it's a very great opportunity. And now we move on to Dr. Vipin K. Yadav. So you're in charge of the magnetometer. What is the contribution of magnetometer to Aditya program?
You see, the magnetic field measurements are very crucial in space, and especially at L1 point. What we are going to measure with magnetometer is the interplanetary magnetic field that is coming all the way from Sun and towards the Earth. So typically these values at L1 point are around 5 to 10 nanotesla. But these values increases whenever there is an extreme solar event, such as the coronal mass ejection or say solar magnetic storms. Now, these events are crucial to monitor the near Earth space weather, because these can have an effect on the life on Earth. If you remember Quebec, there was an event when the power lines were snapped a few years ago. That was because of an extreme solar event. So to keep an eye on the surroundings of Earth, we need these measurements. And apart from that, for solar wind observations also, these measurements will be crucial. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So now we move on to Dr. Anuj Nandi. So what is the importance of solar flares and the impact in heliospheres? And how does Aditya L1 contribute to all of this?
Good afternoon, viewers. As my colleagues already pointed out the importance of this mission and the instruments about. So the thing is, as you know, that solar flares are the energetic and explosive energy release in few seconds to minutes time scale, and it is order of 10 to 27 arcs to 10 to 32 arcs. Now the thing is, these solar flares, why it is important is because the solar flares actually tells the dynamics and activity in the sun. So the thing is, there are 2 unique instruments built by URAV Satellite Center that is going to cover the solar flares from 1 kV to extremely high energy, around 200 kV. And we know that visible sun is only 6000 degree Kelvin temperature, whereas the outer surface of the sun is million degree Kelvin. So the thing is, why there is disparity? So I think these 2 instruments, along with the other 2 instruments, VLC and SUIT, we are going to address this $1 million questions, as well as why there is difference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And now I'd like to go back to Dr. Anil Bharadwaj. So there are many satellites that are sent to the space by other nations. So what makes Aditya L1 different from these satellites?
Well, that's a very good question, because first of all, let me again tell you that India will be the third, or ISRO will be the third space agency to have a mission at L1 point. And I just mentioned that it is multi-wavelength, multi-instrument, and multi-direction, and it measures particle, field, and radiations. So you don't have such kind of satellites existing at L1 point so far and currently. That makes Aditya L1 absolutely unique, because we are going to measure remotely, in situ, and particles and fields. I was also mentioning about multi-direction, and that is coming from the ASPEX payload, which stands for Aditya Solar Wind Particle Experiments. And this is going to measure particles ranging from 100 EVs going to several MeVs, which is essential for us to know, because when the CMEs are happening or the sun is quite angry, the plasma which is coming out from the sun ranges from several EVs to several MeVs. And therefore, we should know in what direction the plasma is coming and whether the plasma is getting accelerated in between when it comes from sun towards earth. And therefore, there is a multi-directional information which is available from the aspects payload, because it consists of two sensors, Swiss and STEP, essentially giving you in two different energy bands. And therefore, we'll be able to quantify the CME, CIRs, and all the processes which is happening on the sun, which gives out coronal mass ejections. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your remarks. And now finally we move on to the principal scientist, Dr. Sankara Subramaniam. So how does the Indian science community seek to capitalize on ISRO's space capabilities, especially these observatory missions like Astrosat and Aditya L1?
Yeah, so now ISRO has established that it has a capability to send observatory class missions anywhere in the interplanetary medium. ISRO also is developing capability for small satellite missions like a nanosat, CubeSat, as well as the small satellite capability. That is something which especially a heliophysics community could utilize it, because we can, at a low cost, we can launch many more such instruments which are essential for heliophysics community here in India. So, and also the bigger mission takes its own life cycle, because it requires technologies to be developed for a bigger missions. So in between these big missions, if we capitalize on these small satellite missions, and that will enhances the science capability of our country to the next level. And as you know, the science and technologies are always synergized. As the technology improves, your science improves. When I started my career in solar physics, I started with a photospheric magnetic field. Now we are in a position where we can do coronal magnetic field with Aditya L1, which was not feasible when I was doing my PhD. So similarly, as we move on and as the technology starts to improve, we would be able to generate much more capable instruments, much more compact instruments, which will enable us to do much more science than what we can currently do. So we look forward to capitalize on ISRO's capabilities, both at the large scale as well as at the small scale instruments, and also its capability for developing new technologies in the near future.
Thank you very much, sir. That was very interesting. And to end this, I have a last question to Dr. Dipankar Banerjee. And it's about what kinds of outreach is possible through this launch to energize the scientific community?
This is a very, very important question. And we are proud to be Indian now after the Chandrayaan success. I think it's just not the students, it's the entire country is excited. And we got this opportunity to now travel towards sun. So it is very important that the younger generation, comes into the research and also utilizes the data. These scientific missions are for the community, and it has to be the community driven. So some of our scientists, who have been engaged with this mission for decades, we understand what is expected to be, this data. But the younger generation, they need to be trained. And so for that reason, we also have a Aditya support cell at Nainital, and we are going around in the country. We are regularly conducting workshops. So through these workshops and training program, we really want to reach out to other, people who are particularly in the universities or IITs, because they have so far not been directly involved with the Aditya mission. So I think we are really, really going out, and we expect that the youngsters, the next generation will come and utilize this data, because the data is for the community. So unless, we have more users, we will not be able to effectively utilize the data, scientific data which is coming, and the way we can help the community at large. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
I think it is very important for us also to reach out to schools and colleges, because the younger generation should be told about this kind of activities which is happening in the country. Chandrayaan 3 launch has galvanized the whole nation, and everybody is interested to know what all is happening in the science and technology within the country. And therefore, this mission, along with the Chandrayaan 3 mission, that is the Aditya mission and Chandrayaan 3 mission, is going to give us a lot of new information which is going to be very beneficial for the country. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you everybody for participating in this discussion. And now we move on to the control room.
Thank you, Srinidhi, and I thank all the panelists for enlightening us about the high-tech science that Aditya L1 is about to do.